Mustafa, Rose. Thank you all. Let's kick start. Yeah. So hi everyone, good evening. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to another session of our monthly meetup organized by the NAIJA-JUG user group. I'm really glad to have you all here. Yeah, I know, thank you for the reactions. So I know we have quite a number of first-time attendees here with us. So let me briefly share what NAIJA-JUG user group is all about. Okay, yeah. So NAIJA-JUG user group, also known as NAIJA-JUG for short, is a community-driven platform that brings together Java developers and enthusiasts across Nigeria to learn, share knowledge, and grow together through meetups like this, workshops, boot camps, and online discussions. We promote practical learning, collaboration, mentorship, and professional development. Yeah, and our goal is simple: to strengthen the Java ecosystem in Nigeria and to build an inclusive, supportive community for developers at every stage of their journey. As we continue to grow, we are always open to partnerships, sponsorship, and collaborations with individuals and organizations who share this vision and want to contribute to developing tech talent in Nigeria. Yeah, so I'll be dropping the link to our various communities on the chat so that feel free to join all of them. Yeah. Now moving on to today's session. We are joined by Mr. Sunmonu Oluwole, who will be speaking on repetition versus judgment. What makes a software engineer valuable in the AI era? I believe, we all know that we are in the AI era, right? And there are a lot of things like, AI is going to take your job and all those stuff. Yeah, so today we'll be learning, how to stay relevant. Okay. No, Quinta, not just for Nigerians, sorry, not just for Nigerians, all the globe. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So Mr. Sunmonu Oluwole is a lead developer, that is the lead engineer at Peerless, and he brings a wealth of experience in this space. He's very, very experienced in this space, okay? So please join me in giving him your full attention and a warm welcome. Yeah, so please, Mr. Sunmonu, you have the floor. Thank you.
Hi, guys. How is it going today?
Good.
It's going great. Great.
Nice meeting everyone. My name is Sunmonu Oluwole. I'm an engineering manager with Peerless. I was a lead backend engineer. That was just last week, but I recently got promoted to an engineering manager. That was just two days ago. So you guys are like the first set of people I'm sharing with.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet everyone today, right? We are here to talk about a topic that thank you, Rose. We talk about a topic that is pivotal to our engineering journey. We all understand this importance of software, the phase at which software engineering is at the moment, and the importance of the work that we do, right? And I'll be taking us through a thought process that we want everyone here to adopt, right? It will apply to all engineers, the intending engineer, the junior software engineer, the senior software engineer, and then I think I have an advice for each and everyone. So before I delve into this, again, my name is Sunmonu Oluwole. I've been a software engineer for the past, I think, 8 years now, right? I started my journey from GPNL, was very early at Softcom. From Softcom, I left to Traction. I was another Softcom. I was part of the team that built AOO. At Traction, we started, I built POS business. I worked with multiple companies in Canada, US, before I then picked up a leadership role with Peerless, where I helped build CBAS. I actually led the project. Some people will have heard about CBAS before. I led the project as a whole. And yeah, that's enough about me. So let's delve into it. I think someone has their hands up. Is that a mistake?
Yeah, Mr. Sadiq has his hand up.
Okay. I think that was a mistake. All right. So, all right. So let me just present my screen, right? Again, so nice to be here among the Java community. This is my first time being here anyway, and I love the warm welcome. All right, so let's get into it, right? I mean, by show of hands, I will want to ask, how many of us here, a bit skeptical that AI will take our job? If you have, don't be afraid. Even me, I have that bit of skepticism before, right? Before I got a bit educated. If you are, I want to see a bit of your hands up. If you have. Okay. All right. Thank you. And let me now ask another question. How many of us think that that's the better question to be asking, or that frame of question is what we should be asking? If you believe that, you can raise your hands up too. All right. So I'm going to be taking us through this, and I want that while going through this, right, I want us to just follow me on this trip as it is. All right. So I put it here. I said most engineers are asking the wrong question, right? Will AI replace me? Will AI take my job? I kind of believe that that's too much of a sum zero question, because it's neither that black or white, right? I think the question should be reframed into many things. It should be reframed into what type of, what are the things I do today at my job that AI will replace? I put it here that the real question should be, what core value do you actually bring to your job? Which part of my work are repetitive? Which part of my work require judgment? And the reason why these three questions matter, I will drive it in as we go along, right? I think the AI will take your job, AI will not take your job thing. I think that narrative is being sold by the people that are building all of these things, and they've gotten so much investor money, they have to signal to the market. But you're actually in the market that is being signaled to. Oh, apologies. My screen stopped presenting. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Yeah, you that are in the market that this is being signaled to, you need to understand that you have to ask the right question, right? So let me bring this up. All right. So I put it there. So there are 5 characters in this story, right? And everyone in this room, we all belong to this story. And the funny thing is, we're all writing this story as we go along, right? Number one, reality is AI is there and it came with a bang. Of course, AI is there. The work is, you can't deny it. We're all software engineers. We leverage codec, we leverage cloud, that is a reality. And anyone that is not in that reality, that's something you should get into. This tool has moved from something that 18 months ago that people would think is a toy to real work tool, right? But there are many people in this story. There is the fearmongers, right? And I believe they are the ones that are in the air. We take your job, go put your house in, all that kind of thing. They've said you don't have any other option. it will take your job. That's where I believe that these guys are on the extreme left, right? And I put all of these people in the way they are, right? They're on the extreme left, right? They say I will take your job, right? And then we have the dismissals. These ones just say it's not powerful. They don't have any data, it's just vibes. Yeah, I will not take my job. There's nothing that will happen. It's not data driven. They're just, just on vibes, right? These ones are on the extreme right, right? They just believe it. The fearmongers, to me, they are not wrong. They are wrong. The dismissals, they are wrong. Because when you look at the fearmongers, when you look at the actual raw data that they are working with, you find that there is a bit of noise in what they are trying to say, right? And that's because that's the way people react to all new technology. When the World Wide Web came in, people had assumed that was the end of the world. This same website and internet that you were using. As a matter of fact, I was watching a prediction that dated back to 1990, where people were saying people have to just go and put their house in order. This is the end. All jobs will be taken. It was a new technology. They had not seen it that much easy access to the internet. But now, look at this, it's just a tool that you use. So again, I believe that AI we end up being a tool. Then the dismissal says it's not gonna win. I also believe those ones are not. They are in denial. And that's not where anyone should be on this call. However, I said they are the winners, right? The winners understand that I can combine this thing, and get a good result out of this, right? And I put it that the winners, what they understand that is what they do, the repetition, they automate. They know that judgment becomes expensive. These winners, right? That's what they think. And I know the key to all of this thing is repetition versus judgment. Are we drill down to what is repetition, what is judgment, right? To drive home my points, right? And I said the new software engineer, right? He has judgment on the front end, automation on the back end. So let me explain, right? Judgment on the front end, automation on the back end. What does this mean for you as a software engineer? It means that you are putting your wisdom, your intuition, what you are needed for and what you are being paid for. But on the back end of things, actually, you are using a tool that is aiding you to look so productive, right? So let me give you a good example. So, like I said, I lead a team that works on, we major in core banking tools, right? We currently power Sterling Bank, we power ARM, we power, a lot of people. And we needed to build a loan module that, now I committed to that loan module, said I was going to build it myself. And that's because I've understood the importance of AI. What I've done is to say, give me the PRDs, give me the documents, let me assimilate this thing. Let me put judgment on the front end. Let me be able to say, these are decisions that we need to make. Do we need to deprecate the old? If we are deprecating the old, do we need to amend it? I've done all of that, right? And I said, you know what, give me 2 weeks, it's going to be out. Now, to everyone, it was like, whoa, do you mean this? Blah, 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 blah. Of course it's going to be out because I'm not writing one single code. I'm going to prompt AI for everything that I need to do, right? And then, we get it done. But to the executive that I'm dealing with, they don't see the AI, they don't see anything. What they see is results. To myself that I'm working on, I'm using something as a tool on the back end that is helping me, right? That's just a slight, what's it called, example of what this might look like. I'll bring it home to your context. Now, so I said this talk is for 3 people, right? The intending engineer, right? I want to believe that there are people that are intending there. You want to be a Java engineer. There is the junior engineer. You're finding your footing in this AI-assisted world, And then there is the senior engineer. There are expectations on you already. And what you do is you are defining what leadership and ownership means. Your role is shifting because now the things that used to be primed for, right, is man, I don't know why my screen keep disconnecting. Please, just when it stops, please, the way you are, just help me with the knowledge when it stops. Yeah, I know I'm not the one that stopped. I mean, that stopped sharing. I don't know. It just keeps disconnecting by itself. But yeah, I'm sharing again. Hope you can see it now. All right.
Yes.
So thank you. So I put it there that this talk is for three people: the intern engineer, the junior engineer, the senior engineer, right? And how you react to all of this is different for each person, right? Your expectations, right, is different for each person. The intended engineer needs to have a different posture than the junior engineer, than the senior engineer, right? And I will go much into this, right? And I put it, I said execution just got cheap, right? Coding is now AI assisted. Documentation is now instant. You tell coders to document your code, it does it immediately. You want to generate a boilerplate, straight. You want to test basics, you want to do testing, right? Automated. There are tools that does it. What used to take 3 days now take 3 hours. The value of execution just dropped. And this is more peculiar to the software engineering terrain, because the truth is, computer coding came because the human does not understand the machine language in the first instance. It is not necessarily because of any big deal. It was because there was a medium to write a language that can be compiled into a machine language for the computer to understand. Now, if you are automating anything faster, that's one place that will be automated faster, because the need in the first place came because the computer did not understand machine language. So when you see that Codex is just getting better at writing your code, you should not have I don't expect you to have too much of a reaction to it by thinking, oh, wow, that's the end of the world. That means that as an engineer, maybe you have not thought about what engineering is. I happen to study civil engineering from OAU, graduated from OAU, right? So I have some basics of what engineering is, apart from software engineering. I understand the importance of paying attention to details as an engineer. I had a lecturer that used to say, you will never make it as an engineer if you don't pay attention to details. Those are core details of being an engineer, irrespective of the field that you are in. I understand that you are trying to build something. I mean, literally, if you're a civil engineer, you are literally, thank you. You are literally building. That's what building is, right? And so I guess I had a sense of building, what it means to build, apart from, coding. And I think it helped me in this AI transition, because I'm literally not struggling with what my role can be, right? In the new AI world where coding is, I embrace it. I'm writing mail to executives that I need tokens. I literally embraced it, and made sure that everybody that worked under me is AI first. As a matter of fact, that's the principle we do in our company. Use AI first, and then use your sense to correct the remaining. Not write the code first and then use AI to correct it, because you have this thing that was a blocker before, just writing this code and writing this code and writing this code. Now you have a tool that can write it. This is where your judgment is to say, this infrastructure will not work, this approach will not work, this design will not work, because of the business context that I have that you don't have. Humans, your advantage is context. AI, his advantage is lack of context. Even if you give it code context, what about the business context? What about the meetings that you had that AI does not have access to even judge, right? And that's really where the leverage of an engineer will be going forward, right? And I want us to pay attention to this. I put this, I said your work lives on a spectrum, right? On the left spectrum, there's repetition. On the right spectrum, there is judgment. So I want you to look at this thing. I'll give you some maybe few seconds. Look at the work you did this week as a software engineer, right? What part did you think your work leaned more towards this week? On the left, there is writing CRUD endpoints, there's a debugging a known error, reviewing a PR for correctness. If you notice that this reviewing for PR correctness, it didn't really necessarily fall too much on the right. It kind of fell in the middle. It fell in the repetition versus the judgment thing because you need it for both. And then on the judgment side, deciding what to build, navigating a trade-off under prayer, owning outcome when things break, right? If I may ask you, where would you say your work has leaned off towards this week?
I think your slide is no longer showing.
It's no longer showing again, right?
Yeah.
Apologies, guys. I don't know. Don't know. Yeah, back. Yeah, so I was saying the work you did this week, right? Where do you think it leaned towards more, right? And there's a total left, there's the middle. I put a reviewing PR here, and then deciding what to build, navigating trade-offs, all of this, they are on the extreme right. Depending on where your work is leaning on, that's what we answer whether AI will take your job or not. Do you understand? If you are sprinting more towards the left, right, where the work you do is majorly towards the left, and that's what you do majorly in your company, well, you have to, because we are human, we are capable of development. As a matter of fact, software engineers are the people that I know that are capable of development the most. So I will not say that you are doomed. I'm just saying you need to start making sure that you are leaning more towards coming towards this middle, where your contributions are leaving this side of, just writing, to leaning more towards this middle, or if you can, lean up towards this right more, right? Thinking about something to optimize, thinking about the trade-off, making more decisions, right? I think that's the way to think about this thing than will I take my job, will I not take your job? Because when something becomes cheap, do you understand? Another thing becomes expensive. I listened to this woman on here. Is one of my inspiration alone, and she was giving these examples of when technology came in, the things that changed. And she gave some examples. She said when printing press came in, because printing became cheap, right? Publishing became a thing. People started publishing a lot because the people that wanted to publish, they had good ideas, right? But to print was a big deal then because you had people on printers that, you have to pay those ones. The printing companies were a big deal because, they have to take all of these numbers of people to overhead to print. But when all of these things became automated, now you can get a computer and start typing in your house. Inspiration became much. People that had those inspiration, they had a means to put things out. Because if you look at it, in the sense of it, repetitive work, the printing work is where the repeated work is. The judgment were the people that were coming in with the actual, ideas. They had the ideas, they had this. Now, these people, they boom, right? But the people that were the printers, they all packed up because you know what is the repetitive work of that side. If you take this thing into coding parlance, what is the repetitive thing that we do every day? Let this, var this. If you are a Golang, you declare this. If you are that's one of the things we do repetitively every day. Now that's what computer is getting good at, which is why I'm putting it here that you are writing crawl, you're debugging a known error. Like, these are the repetitive part. But deciding what to build, all of those inspiration about judgment and everything, those are the things that computer is not good at. So, and if you think things that are leaning towards this left, and you see a new cloud build, right? What they are trying every time to do is to make sure that the computer gets better on this right part. However, the more you want AI to get better on this right part, the more compute you have to give to it, because now it needs to know a whole lot of context, right? That's why a cloud will release Opus and tell you that, well, this one is a better model, but be ready to open your purse. And you see that companies are not ready to do that because, man, unless you want to enter problem. So the more you want this guy to, so I'm just giving you all of this context to say, before AI gets more into this right part, yeah, you might have retired as an engineer. I'm just joking. System get built faster. But my point is, you get the point. When something gets cheap, right, another thing gets expensive. The more I believe that the more this left gets cheap, there will be more demand for this, right? Because now codes are everywhere. AI slop, code is everywhere, everything. Now you need to now know which code do you want to. You need to know which product do you want to. You need to be able to put judgment into place, and then there will be now demand for what should we do. We have so many things that is being published by this guy. What exactly should we do? So that's what I've been trying to say, and I've been trying to drive home with this, right? And this is for the intending engineers, right? Because I said I wanted to cover all of the everyone that is there, and I put it there. You are not late. There is a fear mongering. Yeah, we take your job. People are already afraid that are they even late into this thing? No, you are not late. That's to be fair. You are not, right? But your approach needs to change. It needs to change. You can't use the same approach of writing code and publishing them on. I know this thing has disconnected again, so let me just put it up. Writing, so because when we're getting into tech, right, what we used to do was we write code, we write Medium article, we write a whole lot of things and we put it out there, right? But now, if your Medium article is not actually necessarily about even using AI itself, it might not, because people will just assume you use AI for it. That's the assumption these days. And that's not a bad assumption, to be fair, because, again, like I said, I am pro AI first in everything you do. So me, I don't. When people say I use AI for things, I don't. As against what? Do you want me to be writing it one by one? When there is a tool that there that can think with you and you can optimize things and optimize your time for better things. So I don't believe that when people say you use AI is a negative thing. Or if you are thinking like that, then you need to come into this world. Creativity, all of those things have changed. The way the world thinks about it right now. So you're not late, you're on time, but for a different race, right? You need to start learning about the why and not just the how, right? You don't just learn syntax, you learn why systems are designed certain ways. I work with a lot of engineers, right? Our company model, we have permanent staff, we have outsourcing staffs. I have engineers that is literally my mouth that they heard system design the first time. Like, they've not designed the system before, right? And they came in as senior engineers. Nigeria senior engineers is a generic one. So I mean, if you worked in companies abroad, you understand what I'm saying. You meet seniors, right? One time I interviewed with Amazon. You meet 40, 50 years old seniors. They've been doing this thing for 25 years. The questions they'll be asking you. But I'm saying, and they are still senior engineers. They're not even dead of anything. But again, it's not bad. We are a good tech ecosystem. I'm pro our ecosystem. So whatever senior, whatever, the most important thing is you can solve problems. I'm not against you calling yourself. As soon as you can solve problems, you can think about it wholeheartedly. An engineer is a problem solver. Whether you are a senior, you are a lead senior, you can solve problems. You can own outcomes. You can bring things end to end. Man, call yourself senior, call yourself whatever you need to do is super important. And it's important for you to toot your horns. What is not good is when you toot your horns and you don't have any substance to back it up. That's where the problem is, right? I was saying build with real constraints, right? If you're going to build things now, you can't be doing the to-do app. You guys remember when we were getting to tech, you'll be doing to-do app. You can't be doing a to-do app because what exactly are you doing with a to-do app? So I was a judge in an hackathon some days ago. That was two weeks ago, right? People brought ideas, right? People brought different ideas to win some money. And it was so good to see people building things with AI because that hackathon was necessarily about AI. Someone built a clone of Clawbot and it was working. Like they even had a different UI for it, right? I gave them a real life feedback on some of the things, the constraints I see. But those are the ideas that people want to see, that we wow them to say, you know what, I think you are taking enough initiative. I can bring you into my company. So I said, build something with ambiguity in it. Let people say, if I say if you're an intending engineer, you show me a clone of Cloudbot. I mean, I will not say you will come in and you will not do better because you've taken initiative, right? And I put it there, by practice articulating trade-offs. So, and this is a bit tricky because you might not even really know how to manage trade-offs yet if you don't have the real life experience. That's a thing, right? So this is a bit tricky. I will not lie, but it is just what it is. It's in the world that we are in currently. But again, it's not all doom. I don't believe in a lateral way of ever looking at anything. Now, for the junior engineer, you're already a junior in the company, but you're trying to move up, right? I put here, your first instinct will be to out-execute AI. Don't, right? And the reason I say this is literally from my experience. So I was on a call with some, engineers in my company, and then I gave them some things to do. They were struggling with it. And for the love of me, I could not understand why they were struggling with it. Eventually, when I drilled down, the guy first said, he just wants to use his personal sense. I was like, hey, I don't understand these personal sense things, because I get you, I get genuity, I get creativity, but even me that I'm your guy, I'm saying I'm using AI, you are reporting to me, you say you want to use your personal sense. Get this work done, because now the problem is we have a client commitment. You are using personal sense is not working, and we are behind already. Get this thing done. He now pivoted into the tokens are expensive. And I told him that, you know what, you have not seen the value of this thing. That's the reason why you are complaining this much. If you spend some part of your money, this money that you're using to do personal sense, if you spend it and you get work done faster, you can get promoted faster. And the thing is, I work in a company that rewards. I've recommended people, some people even still got promoted no quite long. Recommended people because they get job done, right? So when you optimize for some things, right, don't be trying to be doing manual work. And I know this, because we are all experienced in different things. We all have different thoughts about AI. I'm just trying to tell you that this, to me, is everything. I know I've stopped presenting, right? But just give me a second. Like, this to me is everything. So give me a second. All right, up. So don't optimize too much for doing things for yourself, right? Ask upstream question. The things I'm doing, what does it really solve? Document your reasoning. We recently received a release, because I'm also co-founding a different company, right? We recently released Skin Wrap. Please, you guys can check us out. We're into traveling and everything. And we recently released some features. And all of the guys that are under me, I have to mandate them to go and write article. They've all written article on LinkedIn, because you need to document. Is a super important. The work you guys have done is so amazing. It's an AI powered system that we built from ground up. Blah 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 blah. You need to document it, right? Flag ambiguity early, right? And I said AI can't. You can. That's your first edge. Ambiguity. If I tell AI that I'm going from A to B, kindly tell me, just go. AI can tell you, you know what? A trajectory from F to G to C and E to Y, and you that you have business context, you just know that is A to B, I'm going. I can easily just stand up and be walking to A to B. So business context help you here to flag ambiguity. And Ibra, this upstream question, you can also make sure that you're not solving things in isolation. You were told to work on document management, right? But if you are working in a system, I work in a system that is majorly a microservice. We have so much microservice. When you are doing document management, you need to think about what's the importance of this document management on branch transactions? Have system thinking. Don't just think in one task. If you are thinking like that, right, you are not heading in the right direction with this AI thing. So it needs a bit of a change of mind, right? If you are leaning too much on that left, you are risking a whole lot of things. You need to make sure that you are moving on the right. And I put it for the senior engineer. Your new job, make judgment scalable, right? Your job in your company might be before you used to write code, they used to know you that this bad guy. But seniority, to be fair, it's just in Nigeria that being a bad guy at writing code used to be a thing with seniority. Before every company I've worked in, and I've worked in 4 continents, right? Worked in Asia, worked in Canada, worked in the UK, worked in Nigeria. And I can tell you for free, I've worked with so many senior engineers. Every one of them I've worked in, even before AI came, it's always been judgment. Judgment has always been a thing that those senior engineers are known for. Ability to be able to say, this is good for us. You can't come to a stand-up and you don't have things to say. You just have to have something to say and then just put it there. These are the things that we all need to improve on. Visibility, be known. You are a senior engineer, they are making decisions, and then you're just quiet. Why are you quiet? Have something, prepare for the meeting ahead. Some of us don't even know that you need to prepare for meetings ahead. Again, you need to have cutting edge in this new age. And these are your cutting edge. They say this meeting is about this thing. Think about 2 things that you can chip in those meetings. Even if someone has said it, reframe it, take it from their mouth and say, they say A will move to B. You yourself will say, having heard that A will move to B, can it, it's just visibility. Is good for you, is good for the work, that is good for this new age that you are in, because you know that the things that esoteric coding language that everybody knows you for before, right? Their view of it has changed, and view and what's it called? Perception matters much. To be fair, it's not like I'm not a way I can do all. It's not like I can write all of the code, but the view of management and the view of what has been thrown into the world is that these are your engineers that you have said. How many are they? I can replace them now. And all of that. It's not like they are even ready to pay for the tokens like the company, right? They don't even want to know, but it's just what is being put out. And I'm saying strategically for the future, knowing so much that you are a global player, you are working for a global standard. These are the things that you need to change to strategically. I'll be driving this home now because I still want us to have questions. If you have questions, I want you to ask. And I say judgment is not intelligence, it's discernment. It's around what problem is actually worth solving. What output is genuinely useful to the user? What trade-offs actually matter here? What do we do when data is incomplete? These are discernment. Is in our ability to think. This is not just general intelligence. Your what's it called can be good here, your ChatGPT and everything. But when it comes to this data run, what should we do? Should we when you come into a room, you see that the mood is not reflecting what it should reflect, and then based on this, you make some decisions. Those are the things that AI cannot do, right? Your AI gives you answer, you decide what matters. Very important. Please always put it in your heart, in your right hand. Your AI will give you answer, but you are the one that will determine what will matter. Because at the end of the day, right, you are being paid for something, right? And it can't be what a tool can do. It has to be. So when you go to a doctor, right, and the doctor picks up your tool, they check internet. You say, I'm feeling headache. They check internet, yeah, and they prescribe something to you. If you end up, if someone ends up maybe being dead or something, now the family of that person can sue that hospital and sue that doctor. And now in the actual defense, that doctor cannot say go and sue AI because it was AI that prescribed it. That's the way you should think about yourself as an engineer. You are the one that is finally responsible. But in the meantime, that doctor has used that AI to accelerate his knowledge, but he still decides. It's still your reputation that is being put on the line. When you write a code and then you use AI to generate the code, and you are pushing that code into production. Now, I'm in financial sector. Everything matters. If you go and push that thing and you go and cause financial exposure, you can't say it's AI that wrote it though. And yeah, software engineer can, you don't say I'm a big software engineer, anything can happen. I'm just playing anyway. But you know, there's a reputational risk when it comes to finance, and we take things very carefully there. So I'm just trying to say, in terms of outcomes and everything, you decide. Now, it's not myself or AI, it's AI plus you, which is greater than AI alone. Is myself. AI brings speed, it brings scale, it brings pattern recognition, it brings repetition at volume, right? You bring judgment, you bring direction, you bring ownership, you bring accountability. I don't want to dwell on this too much. I've spoken about it. Whatever the outcome of left is, you decide on how it will be. And even how you present the outcome of left, most of the time, it also matters, right? I've seen that engineers don't know how to present their work. No way. It's just done. You see the people that are in management, they know how to present their work. They've literally, you know this meme. I don't know if you know this meme on Twitter, where someone is checking these things that are being brought into factory, and the person is just doing like this. He's not necessarily doing anything. That's what most people in management, they know how to do it very well. They are just, but they will dress it. They know how to present their work. But you know, the engineers that has done the work so much, he's not concerned about the user. He's not thinking about how it is. Even me, I used to be like that until I grew much into upper management. I started understanding that whatever code you have written, right? I've fought so many of my engineers on this. The man has worked on dev. He has pushed it into UAT. He has tested. But for some reason, from that UAT to client simulation and environment, he's finding it hard. But to him, he has done his work, right? Nobody thinks about clients that way. But what I'm trying to tell you is that whatever it is speed you can gain on this left, always understand that this right is what matters. Your ability to present it, your ability to move it to the client and the client using it, and your speed now translating from the left so far to the right, left so far to the right, left so far to the right. You know what people will see? You on the right. They won't understand what exactly is going on the left, but they will understand that for everything we give this guy, a faster outcome, and then, oh wow, you become this engineer that people talk about. So I think I've used this engineer, right? Doctors put their license on the line, lawyer carries the liability, engineers, they own the system when it fails, right? So, and here, right, I wanted us to do this together. But I understand I've spent my time. Like I said, I want us to ask questions. I said, write down 5 things you did last week as an engineer. Then mark each one. Is it repetitive? Is it on the judgment side? Which column is fuller, right? That is your signal. So stop asking the flat question that will just be confusing you. And that flat question is, will AI take my job? No. Ask yourself, as where I am currently, what exactly am I doing? Is he on this repetitive side? Is he on these judgments? As a matter of fact, you can still use AI to prompt it to say, based on my context and the work I've been doing, can you give me what is on this repetitive side, what is on this judgment side? Now, whatever it is that he gives you that you are doing on the judgment side, or whatever it is you've written down on the judgment side, I will advise that you optimize for those things more in your place of work, right? I will not even say, because you'll not stay in one place forever. Start optimizing for those things more in your career, right? I can tell you for free that the world will still swing, and those things will matter. Even if the world will not swing in a crazy way that people are saying it will swing, which I believe it will not swing in that way. The fact that you optimize for this right means that you can do the things that are on the left easily more. You can make things, and then you can do things more, right? So I'm about to round up here, right? Still, man, this presentation thing is fine. So, yeah, these I've said, humans in front, machines behind. Make sure that this is what you do, this is who you are, right? What becomes rare becomes valuable. Whatever it is that is plenty is never valuable. Good taste, knowing what should be good, clear thinking, strategic judgment, ownership, right? These are the things that have become scarce and they become valuable. And that's the way the world is, right? It was writing code that became rare before, and then we all became valuable as a software engineer. But writing code now is becoming cheap. Some other things are becoming rare. And that's what we should all look into. And I put it here, stop asking if AI will take your job. Ask better question. Where is my judgment most valuable? Am I developing it or just getting faster at repetition? Am I using AI to amplify my thinking or to avoid it? And I'm writing up there that to the engineer who matters most in 5 years won't write the most code, they will make the best decisions. Thank you, guys. That's the end of my presentation. Please let me know if you have questions. I'm open to them.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sunmonu. Thank you for that insightful and thought-provoking section. Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm sure that we've all gained valuable perspectives, especially on what truly makes an engineer stand out in this AI-driven era. Yeah, so this is exactly what we do at NAIJA-JUG, user group. We create a space where developers can learn, grow, and stay relevant in this rapidly evolving industry. Yeah, so at this point, we'd like to open the floor for questions. Yeah, so if you have any question, thoughts, or contribution, please, feel free to raise your hand and you'll be called on. Yeah, so let me check. So, Mr. Moshood, your hand is up. Please go ahead and ask your question.
All right. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I just wanted to. Before I was a dismisser. I felt AI is just an hype. Yeah, it's not coming for anything. Then recently, I joined the team. Then my eyes opened. I was like, wow. Okay. Then let's say now I'm moving from a dismissal now to a new engineer. So I know, yeah, it's a gradual process. Yeah. So before I like to, when I enter a code base, I like to own it. I like to know everything that is there. To study line by line. But recently I realized, I can't. Time is going. Time is the new currency. So I have to accelerate. So what I do now, I just push it to AI. Tell me what this code does. Okay, it does like this. Okay, I document it. Then I realize that okay, now my work is faster and with time, yeah, I know the process faster now. Instead of spending weeks trying to study the system, now it just days now. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for putting a name to what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Thank you, Moshood.
Yeah. So for me, I have a couple of questions also. So okay, so I'll just give my questions then. Yeah. So I've been thinking, with the rate that the AI advancement is going, currently it can write your code and do a lot of things. Yeah. So where do you see interviews, going? Like, what is the next phase of interviews? Do you see? Will companies still be giving the normal, DSA, all those inverts, a binary tree, or and stuff? If AI can actually do these things and solve them better than we humans, right? So where are interviews going, like in the next few years to come? That's one question. Yeah. Then the second question is, for example, in the Java ecosystem, yeah, we are, most times onboarded into very old code bases. And if you don't have like the basic understanding of Java, and not just the basics alone, if you don't have like a deep understanding of Java, it's actually, a rocky project to work on, right? So like, how can one, balance AI and working on this project, given that these projects are not like new features that are coming up, it's more of, fixing, debugging, and sometimes it's too complicated to even, use AI in it. So how can one, balance this and actually be productive? So those are the two questions I have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Those are very solid questions, right? Especially that number one question, because it's a question that is in the mouth of everybody these days. And I think, in fact, my presentations also address that first question. Interviews, and if you have been interviewing lately, right, is already moving towards this judgment end of things than the DSAs and the everything. I believe personally that this is where system designs will be one of the reasons, one of the things that will be used to judge engineers a lot, right? Because system design is really what checks your ability to determine trade-offs. What should I build? How should I build it? So I've done a lot of system design in my career, right? And someone gives you this task to build this. They have all of these things. Sometimes it's a tiny URL they want you to build. Sometimes it's what's it called? Apologies. Give me a second. Someone is knocking my door. Just give me a second. Apologies. Okay. What happened? Again, apologies. So, like I was saying, this is the age where you will be more I believe, right? It's beginning to transform. I've not been interviewing of late, right? Because it's been a while. I've not been really out there. I used to be an interview crazy person before. I just interview for interview sake, because personally I believe that interview is a skill, is a muscle that you build, right? There are no best or lessons. As a matter of fact, the chances that you will get a job most of the time is in how you build your interview muscle. It's not necessarily because you were badass at the job, but most of the time when you do these things, it becomes repetitive to a point where you know how to answer the right question. So I used to be an interview crazy, but not necessarily. But again, I'm just giving this from inference of the way the world is going. I personally believe that those things will shift towards trade-off, system design, what to build. When you are doing something, should you cache it here? Should you use Redis here? Should you not use Redis here? Should you, when you're given a system to build and you're on a whiteboard, you're meant to design, I believe that those are the places that the world will really go into. Not necessarily, because no matter the tree you want to reverse now, AI will reverse it for you. It might not get it on the first try, but trust me, when you give it better context, it will definitely, because again, this is a machine, that's what it's good at. So that's really where I think the world will move to more when it comes to interview. Again, it's not an assertive answer, because in these things, no one knows all, right? It's a trend. It might be you, for all you care, something else might come up. We are all majorly just learning along the line. I'm not the city of Anthropic or OpenAI, so I will not just come up and say this is the way it will be and that's the way it will be. That would just be being an ignorance. You just predict some of these things, but I can tell you for free that that's where I think the world will go into. And to your second question, so I was working on a multi-tenant model for a Java application. Now, I'm not a Java person, to be fair. I've not written Java like that in my entire life. I've written Python, I've written Golang extensively. I've written Node.js extensively, right? Those were 3 languages I've spent my time on extensively. Now, but one of the modules I was working on was a Java module. Now, in your what was it called? In your Golang, you have your main.go to start with. So you know that that's the entry point for wherever it is. In your JavaScript, it could be your app or your server or wherever, depending on or if you're using a framework, depending on where you're starting with. Now in Java, I did not even know where to start from, like literally. But when I got on the code base, I first instructed Cloud to help me document the entry point of this code base, everything into a .md file. It did. I got a view of everything. And when I got a view of everything of what is going on, next thing I asked was the structure of the code base, like, or the file structure. What exactly is what? At least so that I can compare it to where I'm coming from or what I know. I got that test. Most of the time when I get to the new code base, I always look at the unit test and the integration test that's been written. They give you an idea of what this stuff is. But this one, they don't even have integration. They don't have units. So as at that level, I just gave it a prompt. So I told AI to generate a generic prompt of what's making a system a multi-tenant look like. It generated it. I started correcting the prompt for data that are not non-specific. Don't make it multi-tenant. Make sure that the classes are the base. Now these are things that I know is common to programming generally. I just gave it, and I used it on the Java wherever. It did made the whole system multi-tenant. Had like almost 40 something file changes, right? I pushed it to the dev environment. I tested it. It gave me some error. I self-corrected like 3 times. Everything was working. Every endpoint was working. Now, is that the most optimal way? I mean, everything he did, will I know if it's the most optimal way? No, right? Because it could have, for all you care, there could be an n+1 maybe algorithm he has written where it could have maybe done like an O of 1 or something. But I wouldn't know. Again, this is where the whole idea of judgment and all of this thing comes in, right? Because you have the expertise, because you are owning outcomes, you can tell it that no, this guy is an n+1 query to cause a problem, right? But because I didn't know Java that much, all I just did was accept it. If the problem now comes in production, obviously, we need to now look at it and say, oh, when I see the block of query, and all of those things. So again, you already have this knowledge, this residual knowledge of what it needs to do. I believe that when you get to a code base, you ask for the right documentation, you ask for the right structure, you ask for all of these things. When you tell it to do something, you look at the outcome. You can always correct it and keep it moving. The funny thing is, I don't personally correct AI. I use AI to correct itself. I don't even remember the last time I wrote log format or something, because I also do C#. I didn't mention that the language. As a matter of fact, it's one of our number 1 language. I had to learn it in Peerless, right? I can't remember the last time I wrote a console.log or logger.fmt. I don't. If I want to log one line, I will prompt it to log it. It's just what it is, because again, it's just what it is. I used to write before, but now I don't again. So again, you can always tell it to self-correct itself. You've judged this thing that he has done and you judge it not fit enough. Correct it. Do what needs to be done better. Take this from this query, rewrite it to be more optimal. Take this query, I need it, this way you've written it, not take advantage of the index that we already have in the database. If the way you've written it, those context, system does not have it, you can always give it. So that's the way I think you go about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So please, more questions. Do you have questions? Any question, please raise your hand. Yeah, Mr. Toshiko, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, for your awesome presentation. My question goes like this. I want to know the recent trend in the industry. About 2 weeks ago, Oracle made a layoff. Um, kind of a thousands of their workers was laid off. Most of them affected were developers, and more of Java developers. And think about 2 or 3 days ago, another company, is it Microsoft or so, laid off about thousands of workers again. So I wanted to know your take on that in regards to the AI, the boom of AI. Could it be responsible for this, and how can uh, developers sit up for this? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Very valid question. Again, a disclaimer, these are my opinions. I do not, I try my best not to prime myself as an absolute knowledge or something on things. So I just give a balanced approach and then I allow you to think. Personally, I believe that those guys are just signaling to the market. So let me give you an example. As it is today, OpenAI has raised, the last one they raised was like around $158 billion or thereabout. If you look at what has gone into that company as a whole, it's more than $1 trillion as a whole. If you look at what they've made back from that investment, it cannot even be one, it's not up to 1/19 of that of what they've done. Right. Now, that's market signaling in itself. This is when we say we lay off because we have now automated our process, we don't. There was this company that the owner of Twitter also was heading, Jack Dorsey, that they laid off people. The people they laid off, they had to take them back when they saw that the process was not working. I can assure you that maybe there was already an overhiring during the tech boom, that they just wanted to lay those ones off and they are using AI to cover it. But if it's this same AI that we are using, that I can't even still give access to my pro to go and do anything for me, then I don't think that AI can take 30,000 people's job. I can tell you for free. A whole lot of nuances are in, again, you from what you are, I'm pro AI, I'm pro his ability. I'm all for it, right? I believe he has great potential, right? But I'm just trying to tell you that there are conversations that are more than all of those numbers you're seeing. Some overhired at some point, they let people go. Some of them, they have these staffs that have become so redundant. When you have a big organization, one of the things you start having is redundant staff. Some people in Facebook today is the live feed button that they are responsible for. That's a feature that is stable, and they are being paid £350,000 dollars for it. Live feed button. What exactly do you do with the live feed button? So eventually, if I come across and I tell you that I'm laying people that are in those spheres of, well, either AI or not, that person has his job on the tip of his hand before, because again, these are the realities of big companies. They have loads that they're always trying to shed off. AI or no AI, some people will have been ready to be let go. That's what my thoughts are, right? Because for every time that you say you lay off people, these same applications, it's not like they are getting better. It's not like they are, there will be optimization, there will be people, and I've been telling you that people that will gradually fall into that gap, right? I've made this distinction to us. So if you are in a lower management in your company and you are just in that repetitive whatever, you need to be moving towards the judgment side. I've said the threat is real, is there. You need to do better. But it's not the reason for a 30,000 people layoff. It's just what it is. How many of you here works in the company that has given AI access? AI doesn't even want access to my simulation environment. Talk less of prod. You want me to wake up with $1 billion that has been transferred to a customer because apparently I did not pass in a .env that is meant to be, it doesn't have the lot of nuance and context that will make you trust it to ever do that. And I know big techs too, they can't trust it that much. If you watch Silicon Valley, there's a joke that is coming to me where the AI deleted all of the application, and he said, and he said because he felt the whole code was shitty, so he had to rewrite everything. My point is, AI is bad at judgment, right? And it's not enough to ever say you are letting your 30,000 staff go or wherever. There are other conversations, economic conversations, that people use to pack all of those things and say we are doing a mass layoff. If you just say we are laying people off because we found them redundant and we lay 30,000 off, there will be backlash from everywhere. Like, what do you mean redundant? You are responsible for them. You should have not made them redundant, and a whole lot of conversations that will have ensued. But when you say you are doing it because of AI and productivity gain and everything and blah 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 blah, it becomes you can't blame you. You're only doing it for the sake of your. So those are the things I think those conversations are. Hope I'm able to answer your question, Tochukwu. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
All right, great. Mr. Oluwole, please, you can go ahead with your question.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Thank you very much, Bright, for bringing me in, and thank you, Mr. Oluwole, for this. It's been rather enlightening, and rather, I wouldn't even want to put the question, because to be honest, this thing around here I know sounds more like a discussion. You share minds, you share ideas, and everyone goes and then goes to ponder about it. Because I would expect you to tell me, yeah, from this AI 2 + 2 is 4, and that's it, and we take your word. And when it feels in the future, I start DMing you, bro, you said this. You're responsible for my failure in life or something, right? So yeah, this is rather conversational for me, and I want to share something I feel. Do you think that these companies on a larger scale of thing, would you say, I won't assume that we are using the same Claude $100 or $200 per month. I wouldn't want to believe that. I would want to think that these companies can sign partnership or have something to do with, like maybe a huge tech enterprise company can have something to do with Claude, Anthropic, or OpenAI, then they develop something custom or special for them, which could probably cause them to want to lay off people. That's one. Then, thinking about that, would you then say, or could we then assume, I mean, this is already an assumption, this is a premise, but not a fact. So could we then lay other premises on it that, hey, AI companies will see that it's probably profitable to do business to business than more of business to consumers? Like we doing they are opening out to subsidizing $7,000 for us. I mean, it's crazy. So probably, do you think that eventually they will see that it's more profitable for them to do business to business than business to consume and B2C or something like that, like we, and that would then make AI not a universal thing that everybody can reach, and then subsequently, I don't know, phase out or what?
All right, so you're asking the valid question, right? And again, disclaimer, like you said, we're free to take opinions, right? I mean, you take opinions, you think about them and everything. But let me answer your question. I understand that companies can, have these arrangements and where they build for others. But I think you should listen to, if there's anybody I think you should listen more to on AI, is this NVIDIA CEO, is it Jensen Huang and whatever.
Yeah.
The guy has, because he's at the top of the economy of AI, right? So he broke down the economy of AI to different scales, right? There is the top 10 there, infrastructure. AI is infrastructure intense, right? That's what NVIDIA is. That's where NVIDIA make their money, to the point that all of their staff resigned because they all sold their shares and they became millionaire in dollars. That tells you how much of money they are gaining from keeping infrastructure. Servers, everything is big. That's one. Now, when you get this infrastructure space as an AI company, you have to partition it. One, partition it to one partition for training a model that you will have to release soon. So if it's an Opus, you have to start thinking of an Opus 5.5 that needs to make it for your market continuity and to make a room for your competition. Now, you have to now give other ones for inference, the ones that you use, I use, and everything. Now, these are all expensive. So no matter the arrangement I want to have in my company with you. It has to cascade to that AI company and has to cascade to that infrastructure. If NVIDIA is telling me that one server space of maybe, I don't know, 10 terabytes or whatever, is going to cost me $10,000 to keep, best believe that I'm not doing any deal with you that will cost less than the $10,000 no matter what. The reason why these things are expensive, the reason why cloud will tell you that you will reset. As a matter of fact, let me assure you, some of the answers that cloud returns to you, that's not the most optimal way that it can think of. It can still think better, but they shorten some of these things way around to you because all of those your can I eat bread and everything, that token that you consume, the space and the things you use to think, right, and return to you, those are big heavy space you are eating on the server. That's why cloud, in spite of your $20 per month, which you think is a big deal, we still log you out after like 10 prompts and tell you that you can only reset in the next 5 hours. Managing space. It's not because they are being wicked. It's not because they are managing their model. They are actually managing their upper infrastructure for you. So whatever deals you are negotiating, you better believe you are paying for server space, irrespective. And that's where the economy of AI is. And that's where the expense is at the moment. It's also one of the things I'm banking on, unless, of course, they start doing all of these nano model in infrastructure where, you start getting all of these nano micro way of AI, which I believe they will get there ultimately. If they can optimize space and infrastructure, AI becomes something that becomes more powerful and all. But for now, no one is there at the moment. So, well, to your second question, maybe this become a B2B as we go forward, and then someone will just say, we do it for companies because we get more money from companies and we don't want to expose it to. I think it has gone past that. It is a technology that if you take away from our world today, it can cause world riots. You want me to be going back to Stack Overflow to go and be looking for, I have this question. Even me, I will carry placard. Like, seriously. Because the world has gone past that. You can't take it away from the masses again. It's already here. Right? But, it can evolve. Personally, I believe it will end up as a tool in our hand, like the way the internet ends up as a tool in our hand with all of its potential. It will just end up as a tool. They're not going to achieve AGI. They're not going to do all of those things because when you look at them, okay, so if you think you are going to achieve AGI and then go all in now, do you understand? Just leave small place for inference and then go and acquire more space. But they are not also doing that because everybody is playing the game. So I don't believe that it's going to be all of that. I believe that at the end of the day, sharper model, better tools, people will do it more. If CloudBot is already AGI in its own, the guy can go online for you, set up meetings. That's really at the end of the day. And when when the guy goes online and set up meeting with you, if you tell it to attend your meeting on your behalf and write things on the down and interact, if he's interacting with someone that is vexing, and the person is saying, look at you, your head is not correct, the guy will probably say, I correct you, my head is correct. It's just random things. The context will always be something that is the human advantage. There is no way this thing will ever get there anytime soon. Context. The context, you can see the emotion, the way you get into that room and you think, maybe I should ask this question, maybe I should not ask this question. Or you first come in and just say, based on the way you are looking at the person's face, to say, hey, how are you? Are you good today? And then, because you've asked that simple question, it makes the meeting easier and all of those things. Yeah. So optimize for those things, optimize for things that are soft skill, optimize for things that are better. I think it will be our edge against this AI thing. That's my thoughts. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for taking our time to answer all the questions. Thank you for taking our time, to spend time with us. We appreciate it big time. So I believe there may still be more questions, but please, if you have questions, after the call, you send them to the admin, and they will, forward it to Mr. Sunmonu for answers. Also, I have dropped the link to our various channels. Please feel free to join all. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for taking our time to join us. We appreciate your presence and your participation. All right. So we'll be drawing the curtain here. Yeah. Then please do have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you in our next session. Please don't forget to join our various groups. We have WhatsApp group, we have Twitter, LinkedIn. Yeah. Your hand is up. We're about rounding up.
Yeah. Good evening. Right. So for the new joiner like me now,
yeah.
So I would like to join the platform, and also can you just drop?
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I'll be dropping the links now. Just check I've dropped. So like I said earlier, we have talks like this. We have weekly sessions on Wednesdays, and also we have monthly sessions, and we run boot camps which are free of charge, right? Just join, and you learn things, and also you share knowledge with the community. Yeah, once again, thank you, Mr. Sunmonu, for taking our time to spend with us. Yeah, so do have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah.